Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good morning to everyone. Terima kasih kerana bersama-sama dengan kita pada pagi ini untuk satu webinar, satu online webinar yang bertajuk Sharing of Best Practices on Winning the TRGS Grant. Saya selaku moderator ataupun host anda pada pagi ini, saya adalah Muhammad Rashdan bin Saad daripada Universiti Pertahanan Nasional Malaysia dan juga merangkap sebagai Naib Presiden Persatuan Saintis Muslim Malaysia. Pada pagi ini, webinar yang kita sertai bersama-sama adalah dianjurkan oleh dua entiti, iaitu yang pertama Center for Defence Research and Technology UPNM ataupun nama pendeknya adalah CODREC. Jadi CODREC ni adalah salah satu COE, Center of Excellence di UPNM yang menjalankan penyelidikan dalam bidang defence and security. Jadi jika ada mana-mana penyelidik yang ingin bekerjasama dalam melaksanakan penyelidikan dalam bidang defence, bolehlah menghubungi CODREC di UPNM. Dan juga webinar ini dianjurkan bersama oleh Persatuan Saintis Muslim Malaysia. So, ataupun nama ringkasnya adalah Perintis. Perintis is a registered organisation in Malaysia which consists of Muslim professionals, scientists, engineers and technocrats. Jadi bagi yang ingin mendapatkan maklumat lanjut tentang Perintis, boleh melayari laman web perintis.org.my atau kalau nak menjadi member pun boleh masuk melalui website tersebut. Okey, dan pada pagi ini kita berterima kasih dan berbesar hati untuk menerima speaker kita pada pagi ini, iaitu Profesor Dr. Omar bin Yaakob daripada Universiti Teknologi Malaysia, seorang profesor yang semua kenal lah, Prof. Omar, yang telah berpuluhan tahun berada dalam akademia, dan beliau juga telah menjadi evaluation panel member for KPT ni untuk jangka masa yang lama lah. Jadi saya sendiri pun banyak belajar tentang permohonan grant ni daripada Prof. Omar sendiri, dan pada pagi ini kita akan fokuskan kepada permohonan grant TRGS, iaitu Transdisciplinary Research Grant Scheme. Okay, jadi kalau kita tengok senarai peserta yang mendaftar pada pagi ini, kita ada lebih daripada 70 orang peserta dan daripada 16 buah institusi yang berbeza, daripada Semenanjung Malaysia sehinggalah ke Sabah dan Sarawak pun kita ada, dan kita berharap agar semua akan mendapat manfaat yang diharapkanlah. Dan sesi ini akan berlangsung selama 1 jam 30 minit. Jadi 1 jam adalah slot untuk Prof berkongsi dengan kita apakah tips-tips dan panduan untuk memohon TRGS, manakala kita khususkan selebihnya 30 minit untuk sesi soal jawab bersama dengan Prof jika ada yang ingin berbincang dan bertanya apa-apa soalan. Okey, jadi tanpa melengahkan masa lagi kerana masa itu emas, kita harapkan sepenuhnya daripada Prof. Jadi saya serahkan Zoom ini kepada Prof untuk mulakan pembentangan beliau. Dipersilakan Prof.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Saya tak boleh share sebab you are sharing. Can you stop sharing?
Boleh Prof, kejap saya stop share. Okey, dah. Boleh Prof.
Okey. Nampak ya?
Nampak Prof.
Okey. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good morning. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi washabihi ajmain. Alhamdulillah, we praise Allah Subhanahu wa taala for gathering us today for this we call it Majlis Ilmu session for knowledge sharing. So I hope what I'm going to share will be something beneficial to all those who are present, including myself. Where do you start? Okay, the starting point is that I'm from UTM. I see there are quite a number of people from UTM as well in this session, and maybe some of you have heard part. I don't think all, but maybe part of my presentation I've shared in other sessions, particularly when we were talking about FRGS and so on. But it's okay. There's no harm in repeating. Yeah? So I'll be speaking in Malay and English. I'm not sure if there are non-Malay speaking audience in the audience, non-Malay speakers in the audience. But I'll mix them up as well as the slides, mostly in English. But there are some which are not in English because I picked them up from the guidelines itself, which is in Malay. Okay, I need to give this disclaimer. I'm not from KPT, although I'm part of the evaluation panel of KPT. So whatever I say is not something which is definite, muktamad, and 100% true. Okay, it's based on my experience, which may be not necessarily 100% correct, but you can take it as most of what I'm going to say is something which is for sure. If you follow them, you should be okay. But some parts, maybe sometime later, you are going to ask some questions. I'm not answering on behalf of KPT, so I need to give this disclaimer from the beginning. And I'm going to say that again when I start answering questions, because maybe some of you will ask questions about KPT, about the policies and so on, which I may not be able to answer. Okay. Right. So the first thing that I want to point out is that although today we are talking about TRGS as one of the grants under KPT, I need to put a stress that there are other sources of external grants. Okay, so because sometimes we are so obsessed with KPT, with FRGS especially. FRGS is normally oversubscribed. FRGS, the Fundamental Research Grant Scheme, is oversubscribed. We have many times more applicants than the available allocation that we can give, that KPT can give. So as if everybody thinks that that's the only source of grant. And same thing like TRGS, maybe it's less so, TRGS and PRGS, the transdisciplinary and the prototype research grant will be less subscribed, but still people are very interested in KPT grant. So I just want to point out that KPT grant is only one of the source of external grants. Besides the grant in our own universities, IPTs, and so on, there are other sources. So I'll go very quickly on the other grant, which I know. Of course, I don't know all of them, but some of them I know, some of them I applied, I got them, and so on. So I'm involved. So there are international research funding opportunities, for example, from British councils. So I would encourage all of you to open your eyes and look for British Council, go to British Council websites and wait for their call. Sometimes they have calls for grants. This is all coming from United Kingdom government grants, like Newton Fund, for example. Just an example. But of course, it keep changing along the way. There's a changing environment in Europe, of course, because of the Brexit. You know that. So UK is out of Europe, and so UK will have to have their own grant scheme and so on. There'll be less part of the European research grant scheme. So that's something that will keep changing, and maybe because of that, the British Council grant will also change. So we don't know yet, but keep your eyes open. And the Royal Academy of Engineering. This is a good place where they offer grants and so on. 2 years ago, I got a grant from this Royal Academy of Engineering, and they are quite generous in their funding. And then this one is the 1 billion call for research. This is to replace the Horizon 2020. Yeah. So for this is from the European Commission. And then SAREPs, Japan has quite a number of grants available. SAREP is a scheme from JICA together with a consortium of Japanese universities. So some researchers from UTM and UPM, UKM, and so on, have got this that I know of. Yeah, it's also quite generous in the millions. The amount is in the millions. Also, together with the expert support from JICA and from the universities as well. So it's good if we can look for this as well. And then we have the OUNSEED, ASEAN University Network, but I'm not sure if UPNM is in here. It's quite limited in terms of the number of universities. In Malaysia, oh, okay. USM, if you see here, these are universities in Southeast Asia with Japan universities. But in Malaysia, it's the USM, UM, UPN, and UTM only. So, okay. You can skip that, the UPNM stuff, but you can go for other grants. There's no problem. But other members from UTM and UPM and USM who are at present here can also keep your eyes open for on-seat programs. This Spencer Foundation, they say it's research grants on education, small. Their small is 50,000 USD, which is already more than our FRGS grant. So this is the small grant. This was also open 2020, and now currently it is open again. If you search for Spencer Foundation and look for this grant, then you can apply for this grant as well. It's currently open, 50,000, which is more than FRGS. Instead of applying FRGS, you can apply for this, hopefully. And it is international grant, which has higher points for your KPIs and so on. So if we can apply this. Of course, it is the field of education, philosophy, psychology, and so on. Yeah, not for engineering, science. Okay, and then the Hitachi Foundation also offers that, and then TORE, the Malaysia TORE Science Foundation. These are for the young lecturers only, age below 40. So people like me and so on are not eligible, but many of you here, I think, are eligible. You should keep your eyes open for TORE Foundation. I think TORE also recently opened. I forgot already. And then there is Sarawak RDC, Research and Development Councils. Sarawak is one of the states which is quite active in giving grants for research. And the research must be about Sarawak and relevant to Sarawak. And so we can apply for this. I was involved in one of the projects with UNIMAS and we got this grant in 2020. That grant in 2020. Yeah. I'm not sure if it's open now again for the coming year. So you can try to search for SRDC, Sarawak Research Development Council. And of course, we go to MOSTI grants. Again, MOSTI grant is there, but it's people in the academia is not so excited about it. We don't know why. Okay, they have what's relevant to us would be TET 1 and TET 2. TET 1 is 1 million and TET 2 is 3 million. So if we have this, then FRGS, TRGS, all these are all peanuts compared to TET 1 and TET 2. So, but of course, they are looking for already higher level of applied research ready for pre-commercialization and so on. But still, if you're already at that stage, instead of going for PRGS, okay, we can go for TET 1 or TET 2. Okay, this one needs company or industry participation, collaboration, and so on. But that's the way to go now. So, of course, there's no fundamental research here, but we can try to apply for TET 1 and TET 2 in MOSTI. Keep on the lookout. They do not have calls. They just open their application throughout the year, but they will do the evaluation maybe 4 times a year or something like that. So go for it if you can. Of course, that one will be bottom up, and then there's be top down. Top down be coming from above 15 million ringgit for SRF, Strategic Research Farming, if I'm not mistaken, SRF. And I'm also involved in one of these SRF application at the moment, which we have not got the decision yet. Okay. And then, of course, the mohair research program, you know about it, but the current one, before they have a lot more, but the current ones, they are the 4, FRGS, PRGS, TRGS, and LRGS. So one thing that we have to be aware is the philosophy, the definition, and the objectives. Okay, so for FRGS, there's a philosophy behind it, PRGS behind it, TRGS behind it, and LRGS. Okay, so of course, our focus today will be TRGS. So that's the end of my a brief overview of all the external funding that I know of that you can apply. Of course, you know maybe something more, some other sources that is possible. Maybe you can share also in the chat if you feel like sharing. If you know any other thing, maybe with that we can help the other people in this meeting today. Okay. You may also ask questions in the chat, or I'm not sure if this live stream to which to Perintis YouTube.
Yes, Prof. Dia live stream ke YouTube Perintis.
Okay.
Tapi kita tak buat hebahan lah live stream di YouTube tu. It's just for archiving the recording lah.
Oh, okay.
So most of the question kalau ada boleh tulis di ruangan chat dalam Zoom ni.
Okay. Okay. So by all means, if you have any question, you write in there. Maybe we'll settle that at the end of the whole session. Yeah, I hope you can bear with me. So now we come to the topic of this webinar, basically ensuring success or winning proposal. Yeah. The first thing that I want to remind everybody when we talk about ensuring success is ensure that the research proposal follow the grant guidelines and fulfill all conditions. So this one is very basic, but sometimes not followed even at the first level of application, and then at KPT at institutional level, at university level evaluation, and if it gets through to KPT evaluation level, then it is very unfortunate because it is a waste of time and money, resources for that proposal to come to KPT and then just to be rejected without being properly evaluated. Why is it rejected? Because it does not fulfill parts or some of the grant guidelines. Okay, the conditions are not met. So at KPT level, we call that technical knockout. Okay, technical knockout is only a term we use among evaluators, among us, an informal term used to describe the rejection of research grant applications due to technical deficiencies or failure to follow the stipulated guidelines, regardless of the merit of the proposal itself. Sometimes the proposal is very good, it's well written, the literature review is very nice, the methodology is well defined, the objectives are clear, but there are certain conditions that is stipulated in the guidelines that the researchers do not follow. Okay, so because of that, it is just rejected. It's not even evaluated. Just say, no, we don't want to see this one because the researchers, the applicants fail to follow simple guidelines inside there. Okay, so for example, what is the scope of the grant? From the scope of the grant already, if it is, for example, I'm making it general now. If it is a TRGS, then it must be something applied. If you are trying to build a prototype based on based on previous research, or just building a prototype. No more research. No more research. Whatever you want to do is basically to build prototype. If it is FRGS, then there is no apply. You don't do something to apply to design, develop, construct, and so on. You are trying to see relationship, interactions, and so on. So that's FRGS. So that's what we mean by scope of the grant. So for TRGS, also we need to know the scope of the grant, what is meant by TRGS, what is meant by connectivity within the projects, within the programs, between the projects within the program, and so on. Okay, who can apply? Because the program leader must be professor or Professor Madya. So if a DS51 want to apply as a grant, then that's cannot. Okay, so this one sometimes they do still need to already check this, and of course supposed to be lah. But if such thing goes to KPT level, automatically the project will be rejected. Something like ceiling in the budget, you want to buy some consumable computers, what is the required output, and you don't follow what's the required output. And then is there a limit to number of RA students, what are the priorities areas, what attachments are required. Sometimes it is very clearly stipulated that you must provide the attachment justification for buying of capital equipment, like the 35,000, but you do not attach the quotations and justifications. Then gone. Okay, all the hard work that even you have prepared so far is just gone. So please ensure that you have read for this the subject of our meeting today. Please make sure that you have read this document. If you are applying, don't say that, oh, I know I attended a performance briefing the other day, I know everything. No, please go. I'm not going to go through the whole this one. This is the this is the guidelines. Okay. Make sure you refer to 2022. Don't refer the previous one. So you don't say that I've got last year's one. No, it keeps changing. Although not much, sometimes it's difficult to discern. But of course, you need to make sure that it is the current one. So that's the content. I'm not going to go through every one of them, but later, still I'll pick up some of them and explain a bit more. Yeah. Okay. Later we'll go through that in a bit more detail. Yeah. Okay. So if you can see this, for example. Okey. Grant ini terbuka pada kakan akademik, Profesor dan Profesor Madya Universiti Awam. Sorry ya, saya nak kontrol benda ni, tak tahu how to make this thing smaller. Okay, okay. Okay, so where are we? So Professor Madya is ketua program. Later we talk about what is meant by ketua program, yeah. Ketua program and ketua project. So there are two terms that you have to see here. One be ketua program. So the application for TRGS must have a program and below it there are projects. So the ketua program is Professor or Professor Madya at Universiti Awam or Universiti Swasta, and the ketua projects can also be Professor Madya or pensyarakanan. So tetap or contract. Okay, and tempoh ketua program or ketua projek mestilah berbaki sekurang-kurangnya 2 tahun. So 2 years contract in the university, in the respective universities. Within the from the date of closing for application. Yeah. So make sure again read and follow the latest guideline. Okay. Number 2 that is also important is this is the latest for 2022. For 2022, for every year, for every call for TRGS, they have their theme, and they say they put this in what is called as call for proposals. So you can only restrict, or the call is only restricted to these 4 areas: energy, climate change and environment, pandemic mitigation, preparedness, response, recovery, national resilience to security threats, or artificial intelligence, Internet of Everything technology. So later I'll show you a bit more detail about each one of them, but you must find something that can fit into there. If you cannot fit anything inside there, that means you are out. Okay, you cannot apply this one. So make sure that you fit into this. Yeah. Okay. So this is if you take from the guidelines, then what is meant by TRGS. So it started in 2014. Grant is to encourage collaboration and collegiality, okay, across the research domains within the same institution, because what KPT wants to do is to break down silos. So we don't want like only the engineers would be doing project among the engineers without any involvement from the social scientists or from the applied scientists or from the built environment. Yeah. So we need to make sure that they are all mixed together in one program. Okay. It is fundamental and exploratory. That means that it's not only fundamental. It can go a bit more applied. You're trying to explore new things, for example. Yeah. So this is very good. I mean, it is quite open in a sense. It's quite open rather than if FRGS, you must make sure that it is fundamental. But here you have fundamental and exploratory. So some parts are still fundamental, but you can go towards the actual exploratory parts. Okay, this one is already there. Penyelidikan bertujuan untuk melonjakkan penyataan teori, konsep, idea baru, pemangkin benda-benda baru, penciptaan inovatif. Okay. Ceiling permohonan bagi program is 1.5 million. 1.5 million ringgit. So tahun pertama tidak melebihi 50% dari jumlah yang diluluskan. So you can apply up to 1.5 million for the program. So the program may consist up to 4 projects. Okay, but it doesn't mean that the 4 projects will have 1.5 million divided by 4. Or if you have 3 projects, 500, 500, 500, it depends. Maybe you say 1 project is 1 million. The other 2 projects are 250, 250. That's okay. So it's up to you how you divide between the projects. But whatever it is, the total should not be more than 1.5 million. And tempoh penyelidikan 3 tahun. Okay, so just put it 3 years. So what is meant by TRGS? Program ini mesti melibatkan minimum 3 projek di bawah domain penyelidikan yang berbeza dari universiti yang sama. This one minimum, maximum is 4. Okay, insist minimum. Patutnya dia letak 3 atau 4 projek penyelidikan di bawah domain penyelidikan yang berbeza dari universiti yang sama. So it is actually the groups must come from the same university, but pengecualian diberi untuk kes tertentu yang melibatkan maksimum satu domain dari universiti awam yang lain. There are cases when maybe like UTM, for example, we do not have a medical faculty, but this research require medical input. Yeah, so maybe you can have a special request to have something from other universities, or some universities do not have a pertanian. Maybe you need to get someone from UPM or UITM to be yeah. So this is something that is allowed. But if you ask me how, I'm not sure. So maybe RMC knows better how to do that. Yeah. But the concept is like that. The concept is that if our university do not have that domain research, which is very important for the whole program, then we can apply for them for a project from another university to join the program, our program. And permohonan melibatkan korpus ilmu sains, teknologi and sains sosial dan kemanusiaan adalah amat digalakkan. So it is highly encouraged that because this thing normally they don't work. They don't want to work together, or it's just not natural to work together and so on in the normal silo environment that we have in our universities. But here in TRGS, we highly encourage. So if you have only science, applied science, and then you have engineering technology, and you have ICT, okay, 3, compared to you have engineering, applied science, and social science, then that will have more points, yeah, because social science and humanities is highly encouraged to work together with science and technology. So what are the domains? Of course, you know already domains. Previously, a long time ago, this thing is called cluster, but that's not correct now. Since maybe about 5 years ago, KPT has already defined this to be domain penyelidikan. So we are all members of this domain, yeah. And the research must be able to be tagged into one of this domain. The main research, later I'll say, the anchor research. So the anchor research must be in one of this domain. And then the supporting, so the anchor project must be one of this domain. So led by somebody who is from this domain, and the other supporting projects can come from the other domains. So depending on, well, of course, the nature of the projects that we are doing. Yeah? Okay. So what's in pure and applied science? There's subdomain. There's some definition about subdomain. What's pure and applied science? Technology, engineering, clinical and health science, social sciences, arts and applied arts, natural cultural heritage, information and communication technology. Okay, so those are the 7. So we see the information communication technology is in software, computing, and so on, the ICT, and then natural cultural heritage, the environment, built environment, geoscience, forestry, ethnography. Yeah, I don't know why the marine there. Maybe marine cultural heritage. Maybe. So these are the 7 altogether. Now let's understand what is meant by TRGS having one program and projects. So this is how it works. You have one program, and underneath, it's like, so it becomes like an umbrella consisting of 3 to 4 projects. So one thing is the head of program must lead one project. So that means that if you have here one program, so one program leader will be Professor or Professor Madia, and then he or she must lead either project 1, project 2, or project 3. One person, one project as leader. So you cannot have, for example, I want to lead project 1 and project 2. Okay. For TRGS 2022, maximum 4 projects only under one program. So I put here 3. You can add the 4th one, or you have only 3. So it's either 3 or 4 projects. And very important, you must have anchor project. It could be project 1. You can call that project 1 as the anchor project. And let's see what is meant by anchor project. So anchor project is led by the program leader. Okay. So this is an example of a program before this, yeah. So this is about something about agriculture. Okay, so the potential of durian as alternative cash crop in rural communities. So if we see here, this title here is very much something to do with economics, socio-economics, and so on. So because of that, this project, okay, this project, sorry, I just realized I have a pen. Okay. Can I? Okay. So this project is the anchor project. Okay, so this is the anchor project. So what can support? So the anchor project is very much related to the titles. This title is actually inside here. Okay, so how to support that? All these are supporting. How to improve harvesting technology, how to improve irrigation, clones, and soil fertility. Okay, so in this case, they have 5 projects, which is now no longer in 2022. It's not allowed. You can allow only up to 4. So if we see there are all these are actually supporting one here. So this one will be the anchor. So this one you cannot be an anchor. This one cannot be an anchor. This one cannot be an anchor. It's not this supporting this or this supporting this, this supporting this or this supporting this. It's all trying to improve the socio-economic benefit so that the rural communities can be better. So that's why one thing here, you must have a clear anchor project and you must show connectivity. So we don't want to do something like, it is not like you are applying 3 FRGS, 3 different FRGS, and then you put under one program. It's not. You cannot do that. If you do that, that does not fulfill the grant requirement. The grant requirement is basically you need to show how they're connected, how they're supporting one another, how the result from here, outcome or output from here can be used by here or can be used there, and you know. So all those connectivity need to be shown. Okay. So let's see another example. This one. This is about flood risk assessment and mitigation. So you see here, there are 5 projects, yeah, 5 projects. So 5 projects, and in this case, this becomes the anchor project, the flood risk reduction, which is actually the title of the program. So the title of the program is very much related to the anchor project. Okay, and all these are all supporting, just supporting this final the anchor project. And but still doesn't mean that they, in terms of allocation, the anchor project will have the biggest amount. No, not necessarily. It depends. Maybe the engineering part, okay, maybe project 3 will have more money, yeah, and maybe the special rainfall analysis and so on. So it depends. So all this could have, so this could be from GIS, this could be from engineering, this could be social science. Okay, so this modeling maybe applied science. Yeah, so we see minimum 3 domain, but you can have an additional domain. For example, the fourth one could be the same, like maybe 2 applied science, and then the other 2 will be social science plus ICT, for example. So that's no problem about that. Okay. This is our own program, that my own program I was involved. So this is the interesting one. This project was initially initiated by myself. I was the one who established this. But during the evaluation at UTM level, so I was originally I was here. Omar was here. So we each of us made the proposal for the project. Okay. But during the evaluation at UTM, at that time, we were also not aware about the anchor project and its relation to the program title. Eh? They said that this one is very much a social science. Okay, so this is social science. How come an engineer lead a social science program? So because of that, it was given to Prof. Kamaria. Okay, but it's interesting because we work very well together, and we produce very good results, output, and outcome from this project. Okay, so we have 3 projects, and in this case, although she is holding the anchor project, I think her funding was maybe about 100 something. Okay, this one maybe I forgot already, 250 or something. Maybe another 250, something like that. So we did not even reach 1 million. Okay, for a three-year project. So this is an example of how basically what we are doing. We are supporting this one actually. Okay, we support how support this project such that finally we go to achieve the program objectives. Okay, now we go to the part. So the first one was domain. Remember, domain, we have to have 3 domains minimum, and now you have to fill the call for proposal. So call for proposal, we must sorry, yeah. So this is the call for proposal. Can you see that? So this is the detail. When you go to download the guideline from KPT website, or actually in UTM, it has been sent in UTM. I think the other RMCs in various universities may also have given you or distributed this. This is the detailed call for proposal. Okay, for 2022, energy, climate change, and environment, and they are looking at specific topics. If you go specific topics, you go down here. You need to read that background, the scope. Okay, so these are the scope that they're looking at: deforestation, greenhouse gases inventory, coal, methane, transportation, and sustainable agricultural system. So this is energy, climate change. So you need to read everything while preparing the proposal. Yeah. Okay, we go to the second call. called B, they call it. So this is B. Pandemic mitigation, preparedness, response, recovery. And we go to the scope. The following: health issues, economic growth and sustainability, social well-being, leadership, governance, political volatility, future transformation, education. Okay, so people lost learning generation, yeah, all this post-pandemic recovery, we are looking to that communication effectiveness. Okay, then each one has research deliverables, so you need to look into what is required here and answer all this. Okay, serahan case, and then okay, we go to C. This is called C. Ketahanan nasional, national resilience to security threats, territorial sovereignty, socio-economic stability, national integration, good governance, economic integrity, social justice, sustainable development, people security, international recognition. Okay, and this is what has been. So we can look into all these areas. I think UPNM has a lot of possibilities here. Okay, especially with dia punya apa nama, most of these topics or the scope is actually covered by UPNM, so you can do that. And then we go to, okay, so it's this one, international security, information security, cyber security, regional stability, and so on. So UPNM has a lot of role to play there. And we go to our last, oh dear, I pressed the wrong button. This link, should I press that link? No. Okay, and we go to the last call, which is called D, artificial intelligence and internet of everything, teknologi kecerdasan buatan internet itu semua. So we go to the scope. Here, augmented reality, autonomous system, big data analytics, data network security, machine learning, system integration, artificial intelligence. We're looking to fund proposals that address the issues from a digital economy, aerospace, and transport industry, specifically electric vehicles. So we can do something about electric vehicle, would be very much welcome. Yeah. So these are the 4 calls that we need to follow. So if we have something which is outside this scope, outside the call and scope of the call, then it's no point applying. In fact, you cannot click on my grant. You just have to choose A, B, C, D. You cannot choose any others. Okay. Okay. Right. And then you have to follow domain. You have the 3 domains, and then you have to follow this one of the calls. You must answer one of the call. You must type your proposal into one of the research clusters. This is fixed research clusters. So which part is it? So how do you map your proposal into the correct domain, the correct calls, the correct cluster penyelidikan, the correct MyST, Malaysian Science, Technology, Innovation, Economy. You must penuhi one of them, and the correct KEGA, Key Economic Growth Activities in Wawasan Kemakmuran Bersama. And also finally on the SDGs, or the 17 plus number 18, societal harmony and happiness. So you have to pick up one of this where your proposal. So finally you have to tick which SDG, which WKB, which KEGA, which cluster, yeah, which MISTI. You have to pick one of them. Okay, so that's basically in general about the explanation about the requirements for application of the TRGS. Okay, now I go to a bit more. Well, we have 10 minutes. A bit more details in terms of what's required. For example, when you write your research background and problem statement, yeah, you must describe the background study, literature review to show research gap, problem statement, and so on. And you must cite the last 5 years literature. So this one is typical for our research proposal from our students. So we see sometimes they find literature many years ago, 10-15 years, or some are still citing 1990s literature and so on, which is unacceptable because research is supposed to be cutting edge. Yeah, so if you say research gap is 10 years ago research gap, then for sure it's already been covered by others, right? So and one of the problem, especially in FRGS, because people normally apply the FRGS based on the PhD work. Their PhD work was maybe they began in 2012. Okay, they finished in 2016, and then they start to apply for FRGS and so on. So if they use their PhD, that means there is their literature is all the 2010, 2011, 2012 at that time. So because of that, the background is not very strong. The problem statement is not very strong. Okay, and then objectives, make sure that it is smart, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic within time frame. So it must be specific and measurable. I go very quickly on this. So we use smart words like determine, identify, derive, show, establish. Objectives are written as numbered bullets, not just bullets, or not even A, B, C. Objective 1, objective 2, objective 3 should be. This is a 3 years project, so we put 3 to 5 objectives. It must be specific, measurable. Do not use words such as investigate. I'm very unhappy if people use in their objectives to be these words, explore, study. You can study till the cows come home, but what is it that you're looking for in the study or in your investigation? What we are looking for, that's the objectives. So what we are looking for, right? So, for example, to determine the effect, to identify the most, to assess feasibility, yeah, and then basically to establish, to evaluate, yeah. So evaluate effectiveness, establish relationship, assess feasibility, identify most suitable, determine the effect. Okay, but if you write to investigate, you're investigating. But how do you check whether they have achieved something? Because investigation is a process, study is a process, explore is a process. But this one is, there is time to it that you can get it, yeah. So clearly the objectives are specific and measurable. And then some people write to carry out experiment, to conduct a CFD analysis, to analyze, to examine. Those are process again. It's a process of research. So we don't do research to what? Why do we do research? When we do research to carry out experiment, no. Yeah. And then we have research questions, objective, methodology are directly related to one another. So you have a research question, you have objectives, yeah. And then methodology, one important thing is you need to be comprehensive in your methodology. You explain steps, explain the methods, tools, equipment to be used, and show clear flowchart and Gantt chart, put milestone every half year. So one thing I keep stressing is this part. Okay, related to budgeting. Because sometimes we see people put, they want to do field trip and so on. They do not explain about having field trip, but in the budget, there's something about field trips. They do not have anything to do to like in the methodology, like they want to outsource. Yeah, outsource. Maybe asking Sirim to do some testing of some specimens, but in their budget, they put in vote 29,000, they put testing at Sirim. But nothing said about it in the methodology. Why suddenly Sirim appears? Okay, same thing like buying equipment. Yeah, even if it's a small equipment, like you want to buy transducers or you want to buy accelerometers and so on, you must say why you want to buy inside methodology. You may say that we need to use accelerometers for this to do the measurement. We already have 2. We need to buy another one. So at least if you explain that in methodology, so we can understand why you want to buy that in vote 35,000. Yeah. So those are some examples, very important. Okay. This is an example. I'm not, it's too small. Not going to that. Okay. One thing very important is that the project team and quality. This one we look for it in the during evaluation. We look at the project team. There are number one is that the program and project leaders have English good track records. So this one is important, especially program lah. The project, because project is just the S51 still okay, senior lecturer. But the program leader must be somebody who has a good track record. And make sure the team has expertise on all aspects of the project. So one thing that I mentioned before this, maybe some of us may have heard, we have seen some projects that require an expertise that's not in the team. For example, some mechanical engineering people want to do something about maybe autonomous boat, for example, but they are all mechanical engineers. And in their CVs, in their profile, they do not have any expertise on control, on the autonomous vehicle itself, how to do it, the electronics part, they do not have. So that's an example. And then maybe in this case, we especially in the TRGS, it's very important to make sure that because of the big money involved, so we must make sure that you can really carry out this. Okay, and then get senior staff with good track record to be part of the team. Make sure the team works effectively, not just free riding or tampal nama. Okay, free riding, tampal nama. Just because he is senior, you want to put his name. That is not good. Okay, and proper teamwork is reflected in meticulous and well-prepared proposal. Again, I keep on mentioning that at KPT level, we do not want to see half-cooked proposals. It should be tip-top. Yeah, for FRGS, for example, anything below 80% is just unacceptable. Marks. It's just unacceptable. You should have been rejected at institutional level, but still you bring it up to KPT level. And as I say, it is going to be waste of money, resources for somebody to have to look into that and so on and reject it. Okay, so it must be fully cooked. You are very confident about it. Everything is tip-top, meticulous, well prepared. Okay, so that is reflected by proper teamwork. The teamwork must the team must have every single member of the team understand about the project. They are involved in the project. Okay, I'll show you our example. This is example how I work with my team. I think some of you are also in this session. You can testify that this is how I work. This is how we work when we have our project meeting. During the project proposal, it's not one person doing making the proposal and then send to another person to check, and then send another person to check, and so on. Finally, oh, okay, let's put in and let's in. No, we need to have meeting, really discuss in the budget. For example, we are discussing budget, we are discussing about the output that we want to put inside there and so on. So this is project meeting before the project starts, even before well, project preparation is done together as a team. Then only it is a teamwork. And that the output of this teamwork is seen in the meticulous, well-prepared project proposal. So again, please, no free ride, no bonceng gratis, no tanpa nama. I just want to put that person's name. I would or somebody asked, hey, can you put my name in? Okay, we don't want that. We don't want that. And we have to continue throughout. So like my case, this one project at Mestec, the other project at KPT. Okay, so Mestec was that's during Mestec time. Yeah. So our end of project final presentation, from the beginning until the end, we were together. From proposal stage until final end. And throughout the process, we are meeting regularly. We have minutes of meetings. Yeah, so we have a proper group work. That's how we should work. We don't want to be one-man show. Okay, one-man show. Once you got the project, basically just the one man or one woman, he takes it, make a decision, everything about himself, or maybe he and his colleague, another two. So although there are 5 persons in the projects, the rest are not there. But here we are all together throughout. Yeah. So it is very important for this book. I need to remind the whole thing about TRGS is about collegiality. Yeah, collegiality. So we need to work together, keserakanan, collegiality, to collaboration amongst the various teams and so on. Okay, budget. As I say again, follow the seeding, do not be reasonable, do not inflate. Quotations, relate to methodology. Yeah? Relate to methodology, show the need for field work or certain equipment. Whether you need to rent certain equipment, so you need to mention maybe in about 24,000, you want to put renting of equipment, then you need to explain in the methodology that you need to rent that. Okay, and show how you derive the figures. And then mohair grant must be used to upgrade students. I think, but it can recent letter from, not recent, this one 2019, is allowed now, tertakluk pada syarat-syarat tertentu. RMC knows the syarat lah. Okay, we can apply because we find many people having difficulty getting Malaysians to work in our grant as a research as graduate research assistant, and KPT has allowed this subject to certain conditions. Okay, and then the industry government agency support in for PRGS, for FRGS and PRGS it's not compulsory, but in TRGS it is compulsory. Okay, so we need to have this. So, and emails are no longer accepted. Previously, long time ago, it's good enough, but now we need to have letter of intent with company and agency letterheads. Okay, so here is what is mentioned here, diwajibkan dalam permohonan letakkan additional information. So these are some examples of letters that I've got supporting from government, cadangan project and so on. So with these letters, it become very strong. So this is from a company, and this is from another government department. And then bukti carian patents diwajibkan bagi TRGS. You need to do that. For FGS is digalakkan, but for TRGS it is diwajibkan. So we need to do that. For UTM staff, UTM staff who's following, I think all RMC can show this using lens.org. Okay, collaborasi with industry, like what we said just now, industry or agency. So surat ni, letter of intent, email, or if you have MOA, MOU, will be very good. Risiko, risk management is not required at TRGS stage, but it is recommended. Right? So you recap, if you have this, then you have bonus in the marks given. You have a bonus. This one is not related so much to the syarat during the application, but I just need to mention about acknowledgement in the acknowledgement when you are publishing using KPT grant. You must say the research has been carried out under TRGS scheme project, the provided Ministry of Education. So this number is from my grant. Okay, if it's FRGS, if it's LGS. So the publication must have this, then only it is counted as a publication related to your research grant as your output. So what we mean is that even if, say, you have a title about something about solar energy for rural communities, that's your title of your TRGS grant. Okay, then when you publish a paper, it's exactly that, solar for a rural community. You publish that in Q1. Okay, but you forgot to put this acknowledgement, then that paper is not counted as output from this program. Okay, so that's why it is very, very important for you to put this acknowledgement. Okay, same thing if FRGS, whatever it is, they will only count the papers that have got the acknowledgement. Oh, that's the end of this session, more than 11. I want to go very briefly through the guidelines, very, very briefly, very fun one. I'm not going to touch everything, but just to what we call it, the overview of it. So this one I've shown somebody about what's grant, who can apply, and about the applicants and so on. Okay, the core proposal, like I mentioned just now, these are the core proposal, and the cluster and domain, minimum 3 domain.
Sorry Prof, slide tak nampak, screen tak nampak yang garis panduan tu. Nampak, okay. Terima kasih.
Why? Oh, okay. Oh, previously I've shown also cannot see.
Yang awal-awal waktu call
for
proposal.
Sorry. Is that okay? This one?
Masih nampak slide, tulis terima kasih Prof.
Sekejap, okay.
Maybe Prof unshare kemudian share the PDF kan. Senang
Alright,
sikit.
okay. Share the PDF only, okay. This one.
Okay Prof, dah nampak.
Okay. Right. So I go again from the beginning. Okay, here 2.1 syarat dan permohonan. I've shown part of this. Okay, so you need to read that. I'm not reading all the detail. Just pick up the important ones. 2.2, 2.2.1 I've showed you as well. Okay, so these are the syarat. First, you must follow this core proposal. Number 2, the cluster. Okay. Number 3, domain. The 3 domain minimum. Okay. These are the domains. I've shown you the domain and subdomain just now. And then the MyST 1010. And then the wawasan kemauran bersama KEGA And then the SDGs, the 17 plus 1. 17 SDGs plus others here. Kebahagiaan, this is Malaysian, kebahagiaan keamanan masyarakat. Tempoh penyelidikan 3 tahun, ceiling pertukaran 1.5 million. I've shown that. These are the output. 1 PhD or 2 masters or 1 PhD and 1 masters. Penerbitan, 8 penerbitan in Web of Science. Dalam bidang sains 2 mesti dalam Q1 Web of Science. Okay. Sains Social 2 mestilah sebagai general Q1 Q2. So it is quite a tough requirement. 8 because you have 4 maximum of projects. So each project need to come up with 2 Web of Science. Atas corpus, and then the 2 of them should be in Q1. Harta intelek is compulsory. Harta intelek, keutamaan patent, and then the hasil commercial, if there is anything, then university will manage that, and then you need to give the output. Peraturan, okay, has been explained here. Pemohon can mohon 1 only, and then it is using this full proposal on migrant portal. Okay, I think that's basically it. All these are how they do penilaian and those things. You can also read. I want to show the migrant portal. Migrant. I need to share again. Oh. Saya tak nampak saya punya macam mana kecil ke mana ni? I have this the menu on top here. Macam mana kecil ke menu? How do I remove the menu? Let's see.
Apa menu Zoom ke?
Menu Zoom. Dia ada kat atas, dia ada kat atas.
Cuma,
boleh drag ya?
Boleh drag ke kanan ke
boleh
kiri?
Drag. Okay. Good. Okay, so drag kat kanan kiri memang. Oh. Okay. Boleh nampak ya? Nampak the migrant login?
Nampak, Prof. Yes.
Okay. Okay, so kita login. Okay. Come on. Okay. Right, so kita pergi pada new application dan pilih migrant. Sorry, TRGS 2021. Proceed. Okay. So just like that. And okay. So if you do that, then you should come up to something like this one. Saya cuba buat je. So you go to something like this. So you have application detail. Ni saya letak solar system. I'm not applying this by solar system for rural community. I just put So dekat sini lah the core proposal dia, which core proposal you're looking at, the 4 calls A, B, C, D tadi. And then dalam tu dia ada research cluster. Kita punya research cluster yang tadi kena pilih research cluster. Kena pilih domain. Ini domain utama untuk anchor project. Okay. And then the 1010, you pilih energy and KEGA, SDG. So all you have to choose from here. And then you put whatever keywords there. So this is a program leader. And then the research info, you put the overall expected result dan sebagainya. But some of these things will be picked up later, will come up later once the project are defined here. So here list of project, maximum number of project per program, TRGS is 4. So that means you create project 1. So this is project 1. So kena letakkan siapa who's the project leader. Of course, in this case, will be Umar lah. So we fill in our detail here and so on. Okay. And then akan adalah nanti keluar dia punya benda yang kita kena isi, and that will come up with the research information ni lah. Right. So everything you just do here and submit. So in this case, for UTM, the submission date is 21st. This is UTM. But in maybe in PNM, the other universities, you may have your own punya submission date, because this is submission date is at institutional level, yeah. So that's it. I think that's all that I want to share. Banyaknya ni. Betul ke? Check semua soalan ke ni? Okay. Can you see this the screen? No. Yeah, you can see a chat daripada awal. Okay.
Okay, Prof. Nak go through soalan tu, Prof?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe you can share the question that.
Boleh. Saya bacakan lah untuk Prof. Boleh ya?
Saya start. Maybe you can show ke? Then everybody can see which question are we answering.
Sebab dia keluar dekat Zoom punya chat box tu. I think semua orang boleh chat kat situ je kot. Sebab kalau tak, nanti saya akan share my Zoom punya window sama je kot. Okay, Prof. The first question daripada Soon, sorry Doctor ke Professor, I'm not sure. So I just call whatever names yang ada. Good day, Prof. Omar. Who was the head of program in your previous TRGS grant? In seeing that the anchor project was from social science. I think he was referring to the CLIM punya project, Prof.
Okay. I know how many participants?
Participant ada 57.
Okay, because tadi masa I put my disclaimer tadi ada 33 je. So I need to put my own disclaimer again. Lagi sekali saya sebutkan that what I'm sharing today is all from my own personal experience and according to the guidelines. Tapi saya bukan spokesman KPT. So some of my answers may not be 100% correct lah. Most should be okay. Tapi kot lah ada satu benda yang saya sebut nanti orang kata, hari tu wakil KPT tu cakap kata boleh. Nanti saya bukan wakil official KPT. Saya pun cuma saya adalah panel dalam KPT. Okay. Alright. So soalan pertama daripada Sun. Good day. Okay, apa tu? Seeing that anchor project. Oh, sorry. Siapa head of program? The head of program was Professor Kamaria. She is from social science. So itulah jawapannya. So the anchor project also social science. Kalau tengok tadi saya tunjukkan pun memang social science.
Jadi meaning that the anchor project is from social science and ketua program pun is social science jugalah, Prof.
Yes. Okay. The head of the project of the anchor project must be the head of the program, and the title of the program must be the same as the anchor project.
Okay, Prof. Alright, next question.
Okay. Oh, ni semua Perintis share the call.
Saya share files tu, Prof.
Okay, thank you Perintis.
Kemudian from Dr. Hanafi.
Apa tu pukul apa?
11.03.
Oh, okay.
For the project of autonomous EV, the proposed leader is not very much familiar with the project. In this case, one of sub-project leader can be a lead researcher just to help the project leader. The lead researcher may be a contract staff. Is this a question, Dr. Hanafi, atau clarification?
Boleh tanya apa ni verbally lah kalau tak clear.
Boleh on
Apa
microphone,
soalan?
Dr. Hanafi? Kalau nak jelaskan, what was the question? Yes.
Dr. Rashdan, Assalamualaikum, Prof. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that one is Prof. Ataur who asked you. He used my account.
Okay.
So I think Prof. Ataur, can you ask directly to Prof. Omar?
Okay, Prof. Actually, I'm a contract staff over here.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a project. We have a project EV. We are doing work on this project for a long time, since 2010. So we want to make this project as autonomous EV, either connecting or some others. And that the charging infrastructure we want to make by the renewable energy, which will be the ultra-fast charging station, can charge the vehicle in 5 minutes to 10 minutes.
I think it's okay. You don't have to,
So
explain the project. What is the question here?
The question is this: the project leader, of course, should be the local, and he is not so familiar with this project.
You're talking about project or program?
Program.
Okay.
So I want to be the lead researcher of this program, just to help the leader. Can do that?
No, if the program leader must lead the anchor project. He must be the leader. Of course, you can be the co-researcher and so on. It's no problem. But you cannot be a project leader for that particular project. But you can be project leader of another project.
Okay.
So maybe for example, you have 2 engineering and technology projects. No problem. Okay, yeah. So you lead one, the program leader lead one, and then you have another one from social science and another one from ICT or from social science. That'd be okay.
Okay. Yeah, okay, Prof. Thank you, Prof.
Okay, so next question, Prof, from Dr. Elias. Salam, Professor. I am from the industry and not an academician. Can I be a member of a research team from a university?
I'm not too sure. Oh, wait a minute. I think you can, yes. Because in our TRGS project last time, we have 2 researchers who are not from university. They are from government department, and we can appoint them. So I suppose from the industry can also join to be part of the co-researcher in one of the projects. I think to become member of research team, that's no problem. There's ways to do it. I think we can check with RMC.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Next question. Salam, Prof. Can you share with us the intellectual property that has been successfully filed from your previous TRGS project?
From our TRGS project, we do not have intellectual property because during ours was the first TRGS scheme. The output is not as stringent as now. Okay, we just have, as long as we have some publication in Web of Science, we have a policy paper. These are our two main output: our policy paper and publications, and also of course students. So at that time, the first one is not as rigid as now. Now you have all these 8 Web of Science and scopers and so on. It's very tough. Last time it's very simple, because that was only the starting point, and we fulfill all of them. There's no problem about that. But we don't have intellectual property because our work is not really looking for something that can be intellectual property. But we came up with a policy paper. Okay, that's all the questions.
Setakat di chat box itu saja question. Ada soalan lain ke daripada peserta?
Yes, you can
You
ask
can-
verbally. We have 5 minutes.
Yes. Yes, you can turn on your microphone if you want to ask verbally. Saya ada satu soalan, Prof. Sementara kita tunggu soalan. Let's say that I am a project leader dalam salah satu permohonan TRGS. Kemudian I was invited to join another application of TRGS, also as a project leader, not program leader. Is that permissible? Tak boleh, Prof.
I don't think so. As a
Okay.
program leader, no. As co-researcher, possible.
You mean as a project leader, Prof? Tak boleh. Project and program tak boleh.
No.
In terms of members of one of the project, boleh lah kan?
Yeah, it should be okay. Yes.
Okay, alright. Jelas, Prof. Thank you.
Okay, any more questions?
There was a request daripada audience untuk dapatkan a copy of your presentation slides. Boleh ke, Prof?
Boleh, nanti saya PDF kan.
Okay, so Prof PDF kan bagi kat saya, nanti I will email to all the participants.
Okay.
Thank you, Prof. Any more question daripada audience?
Tak ada, people are waiting for lunch maybe. Okay.
One last question, Prof. Okay, kalau FRGS, it's fundamental. TRGS pun fundamental kan? Cumanya bezanya TRGS covers multidisciplinary kan, Prof? Jadi title tu nanti, of course lah project tu akan nampak dia ke arah something yang applied lah, something yang besar. Instead of just one fundamental research, kita boleh lah title tu jadi macam formulation ke, benda-benda yang basic and fundamental lah kan. So macam mana
Dia
nak
title TRGS is not necessarily, TRGS is not only fundamental. So there's no problem because it's exploratory. Dia exploratory, so you can explore certain things coming up with new things dan sebagainya. So that it is not fully fundamental. One of the project maybe will be fundamental, but maybe something we want to use that fundamental punya knowledge to develop something. You may come up with some apps ke apa ke dan sebagainya. So that's okay. So that's why the anchor project, okay, could be something yang you are coming up with something lah, maknanya nak kata applied juga ya. So maknanya the title can also be like that. Tapi dalam tu adalah fundamental study yang dalam projek-projek yang lain. Maybe the initial part, project one of the applied science punya tu will be fundamental. Tapi mungkin the ICT part is not really fundamental. Kan, the ICT punya domain. So dia gabungan dan campuran kepada itu will come up with this whole program.
Okay, Prof. Thank you very much.
Right.
Good afternoon, Prof. Sorry, I have another question.
Oh, sampai lagi.
Sorry.
Sun dari mana, Sun?
Sun dari UTHM.
UTHM.
Tun Hussein All Malaysia.
Okay, doktor ke profesor? Doktor ke profesor ni?
Prof Madya.
Oh, Prof Maria, okay. Boleh jadi head.
Prof tadi bagi dua contoh kan, yang di mana anchor project adalah dari social science. Ada tak contoh yang di mana science ataupun engineering sebagai anchor project?
Yang tadi yang flood risk mitigation tadi.
Oh, flood risk mitigation.
Yeah, that one is also engineering. I think civil engineering kalau tak silap.
Okay. Kena lihat balik slide tu tadi.
Yeah.
Okay, terima kasih Prof. Thank you.
Alright, thank you.
Okay, one more question, Prof. Hi, Prof. Even though the ceiling for the grant is 1.5 million, but is there any average approved amount?
No. Dia bila ada ceiling, you apply lah banyak tu. Bukanlah apply banyak tu. Macam kami, masa yang kami dapat, I think, saya pun lupa lah how much. I think about 750,000, lebih kurang macam tu lah, I forgot. Memang tak sampai 1 million. Memang kami apply banyak tu. Dah dapat pun lebih kurang macam tu. Dia tak lari banyak lah. Dia berapa kami sebab kami memang tak memerlukan 1.5 million. So we apply according to what we want. And kalau kita letak a reasonable budget, yang dia orang tak boleh nak challenge lah. Dia kata, okay pun betul. Memang nak buat travelling ke sini. they give you the amount. There's no problem about that. So dia tak nak kata average amount dan sebagainya. No. If your project has merit and really requires 1.5 million, they'll give 1.5 million. I think TRGS ni tak ramai sangat lah yang mahu pun. I think they not like apa nama FRGS. Yeah.
Okay, I think kita dah pukul 1:30 pagi.
1:30, 11:30 baru.
11:30, sorry. 1:30 dah lunch. Okay, so thank you very much, especially kepada Profesor Dr. Omar bin Yaakob atas kesetujuan untuk menerima jemputan kami pada pagi ini. And saya juga harap kepada semua dapat manfaat yang diharapkan lah, insyaAllah. Dan ada dua pesanan selepas daripada ini, iaitu yang pertama, pihak penganjur iaitu perintis dan koordinat akan emailkan kepada semua slide dalam PDF proforma untuk panduan semua. Dan yang kedua adalah bagi sesiapa yang terlepas di session dan juga ataupun yang hadir tetapi ingin mendengar semula rakaman, kita ada rekod dan archivekan di YouTube. Link akan diberikan di dua tempat, iaitu yang pertama di Facebook Perintis dan yang kedua di Facebook Kodrat. So you can search for these two Facebook pages, okay, untuk dapatkan rakaman. Dan sekali lagi terima kasih kepada semua. Boleh tak saya nak request kepada peserta yang hadir, yang mana yang boleh buka webcam, kita ambil gambar sekali, boleh? Untuk rekod penganjuran program Perintis dan juga Kodrat. Okay, kita bagi masa 1 minit untuk masing-masing buka gambar, buka video.
Ramainya kawan-kawan saya. Pronomi pun ada. Aduh, pronomi segalah saya.
Okay, so saya ambil gambar. Okay. Okay, alright. 1, 2, 3. Senyum. 1, 2, 3. Okay, one more. 1, 2, 3. Takut cuci nanti kodak tak jadi, so kita ambil 3 kali. Okay, alright. Thank you very much to everyone. Keep posted on future programs by Perintis and also Kodrat. Dan selamat berjaya in your TRGS application. Okay, itu sahaja daripada penganjur. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum.
Terima kasih, Prof. Omar.
Thank you, Prof.
Okay.